Seattle woke to a gray Monday sky at 7:30 a.m. Jake Harper, a 38-year-old accountant with square glasses, kissed his wife, Lauren, in their cozy Capitol Hill kitchen. Her chestnut hair was pinned in a perfect bun, her smile gleaming like a toothpaste ad. "Have a great day, hon," she said, her honeyed realtor voice grating on Jake's nerves. After 12 years of marriage, he was used to her theatrics, but this morning, a fleeting glint in her eyes, something secretive, made him pause. "You too," Jake muttered, grabbing his briefcase. Their daughters, 11-year-old Mia and 9-year-old Sophie, had already dashed to the school bus, leaving behind the scent of toast and kids' shampoo. Lauren, a 37-year-old star real estate agent, adjusted her blazer. "Might be late tonight, house showing," she tossed out, not meeting his gaze. Jake nodded, though her frequent work evenings had been piling up. He pushed the thought aside and headed to the office. By 8:15, Jake was at his desk in a downtown accounting firm buried in tax season reports. A deadline loomed like a storm cloud. Suddenly, a sharp pain in his groin made him wince. He clenched his jaw, hoping it would pass, but the pain intensified. A trip to the restroom revealed alarming symptoms: greenish discharge. His heart pounded. "What the hell?" he muttered, splashing cold water on his face. His boss, Tom Bennett, a 50-year-old with silver temples, heard a groan from the stall. "Jake, you okay?" he called through the door. Jake, red with embarrassment, emerged, leaning on the wall. "Something's wrong." Physically, he managed. Tom frowned. "Get to a doctor, now. I'll cover your reports. Go." His tone left no room for argument. Jake, grateful, nodded. "Thanks, Tom. I owe you." He grabbed his briefcase and bolted to his car. Normally, he'd see their family doctor, but he was across town, and getting an appointment today was impossible. Instead, Jake drove to an urgent care clinic 5 blocks away. The waiting room smelled of antiseptic, a TV murmuring ads in the background. Jake filled out a form, his hands shaking. How's this even possible, he thought, picturing Lauren. 12 years together, and he'd never strayed. Could she? After 20 minutes, a nurse, Carla, called Jake Harper. Her tone was flat, but her eyes seemed to see right through him. Jake followed her to an exam room where Dr. Ellis, a stern 60-something physician, waited. After a quick exam and tests, the doctor sat, holding a chart. "Mr. Harper, you have chlamydia," he said bluntly. Jake felt the floor drop. "That's impossible. I've only been with my wife. Only Lauren." Dr. Ellis sighed, his eyes softening. "It's a sexually transmitted infection. You need to notify partners and avoid intimacy for 2 weeks after antibiotics." He handed Jake a prescription. "Your wife needs testing ASAP. Untreated, it can cause serious complications, especially in women." Jake nodded, but the doctor's words buzzed like a swarm of bees. Lauren. His Lauren. How could she? Outside the clinic, Jake slid into his car, gripping the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. His phone rang. "Tom. How you holding up, buddy?" his boss asked. Jake exhaled. "Not great. Medical issue, but I'm on it. Need a day or two." Tom's voice was warm. "Take what you need. Your privacy's safe with me." Jake thanked him and hung up. He needed answers, but first, he needed support. He dialed his parents, David and Susan, who lived 20 minutes away in Bellevue. "Dad, I need to talk," Jake said when his father picked up. "Come over, son." "Coffee's ready," David replied, his voice steady as always. Jake drove, anger and pain warring inside him. Lauren's charisma had always been her charm, but her late client meetings and fake smiles had grated more lately. "How did I miss this?" he thought, pulling into his parents' driveway. His mother, Susan, greeted him with a hug. "What's wrong, Jake?" she asked, pouring coffee. His father, a retired pastor with a gray beard, sat across from him. Jake took a breath. "I was at the clinic. I have chlamydia. It can only be from Lauren." Susan gasped, covering her mouth. David leaned forward. "You're sure, son?" Jake nodded. "I've never cheated. She's the only one." Silence fell. Susan squeezed his hand. "Oh, honey. I'm so sorry." David rubbed his temples. "This is serious. You need proof. And a plan." Jake felt anger give way to resolve. "I don't know where to start, but I have to protect Mia and Sophie." His father nodded. "We'll pray for you. But first, call a lawyer. There's Rachel Cohen from church, a family law expert. I'll get her number." Jake returned home while the girls were still at school. He entered Lauren's home office where she kept her files. His heart raced as he opened her laptop. The password, Sophie's birthday, worked. In a work folder, he found bank statements for an unfamiliar account. The balance, $800,000, stopped him cold. "What were you planning, Lauren?" he whispered. His phone rang, his sister, Claire, from Tacoma. Dad told me. You okay? She asked. Shattered, Jake admitted. But I'll find the truth. Claire sighed. I've suspected her for a while. Her seminars are lies. Check her phone, Jake. He nodded, though she couldn't see. Thanks, Claire. I've got this. After hanging up, Jake hired a private investigator, Sarah Miles, through a contact Claire recommended. I need proof. Everything you can find, he told her. Sarah promised results within 24 hours. That evening, Lauren texted, stuck late, house showing. Don't wait up. Jake replied, okay. He left off his usual, love you. Sitting in the dark, he felt his life, everything he thought he knew, crumble. But anger sparked something new. You'll pay for this, Lauren, he whispered. Tomorrow, he'd get answers and they'd change everything. The next morning, Seattle greeted Jake Harper with cold rain. He woke on the couch, still in yesterday's clothes, Lauren's laptop on his lap. Her text from last night, stuck late, house showing, burned in his mind. Jake clenched his fists, picturing the secret $800,000 account he'd found in her files. What are you hiding? He muttered, rubbing his temples. His daughters, Mia and Sophie, were at school and Lauren, as usual, had vanished to work. Today he'd get the truth. Coffee did little to clear the fog in his head. The chlamydia diagnosis from yesterday's clinic visit roared like a siren. Only from Lauren, he repeated, anger mixing with pain. His phone buzzed. Sarah Miles, the private investigator. Mr. Harper, I've got something. Meet me at 10 o'clock, Pike Street Cafe? Her voice was all business with a hint of urgency. I'll be there, Jake replied, grabbing his jacket. The cafe smelled of fresh ground coffee, but Jake barely noticed. Sarah, a 40-something woman with a sharp bob and piercing eyes, waited at a corner table. She slid a folder across to him. You wanted proof. Here it is. Jake opened it and his heart sank. Photos, Lauren with 3 different men at a restaurant, outside a hotel, in a car. In one, she laughed, a wine glass in hand, her arm around a stranger's shoulder. These are from the past 2 weeks, Sarah said. Jake swallowed, his throat dry. Anything else? Sarah handed him a USB drive. Audio? I intercepted her conversation yesterday at the Olympic Hotel. Listen, but it's rough. Jake nodded, feeling the ground shift beneath him. He thanked Sarah and drove home, clutching the USB like it might explode. In his living room, Jake plugged the drive into his laptop. Lauren's voice, so familiar yet alien, filled the room. Jake's so naive, she said, laughing. Thinks I'm at seminars. He's a good dad, but boring. I've been having fun our whole marriage, and he has no clue. A man's voice chimed in, seriously? He's never been with anyone else. Lauren giggled. Believe it or not, he was a virgin before we married. Religious, doesn't drink, doesn't swear. I taught him everything, but God, it's so dull. Jake felt like he'd been punched. But the worst was yet to come. What about your daughters? The man asked. Lauren shrugged. He could picture her careless smile. Honestly? I'm not sure they're his. But he thinks they are, and that's what matters. The recording cut off. Jake stared at the screen, tears streaming down his face. How could you? He whispered. Not just betrayal, but questioning Mia and Sophie's paternity tore his heart apart. He called his sister, Claire, in Tacoma. Claire, it's worse than I thought, he said, his voice trembling. She's been cheating the whole time. And she doesn't know if the girls are mine. Claire gasped. My God, Jake. I knew she was shady, but this. You have to protect Mia and Sophie. Jake nodded. I'm ordering a DNA test. And I'm meeting a lawyer. His phone rang again, his father, David. Rachel Cohen can see you at 1 o'clock, he said. Bring financial records for the past 2 years. Jake thanked him and dug through Lauren's files. Her bank statements confirmed it. She'd funneled massive sums to the secret account, hiding them from their joint budget. She was planning an escape, he realized, a chill settling in his chest. At 1 o'clock, Jake sat in Rachel Cohen's bright office, a 45-year-old family law attorney with a no-nonsense vibe. She listened, flipping through the photos and statements. This is serious, Jake, she said. The SDI is strong evidence of infidelity, but her lawyer might claim you got it elsewhere. The secret account? She'll say it was a retirement surprise. We need airtight proof. Jake handed her the USB. Listen to this. Rachel plugged it into her laptop. Her eyebrows shot up as Lauren's voice played. This changes everything, she said, scribbling notes. I can freeze that account and secure your share. You want custody of the girls? Jake nodded. Full custody. They shouldn't suffer because of her. Rachel smiled. Then we fight. I'll hire an investigator to dig deeper. Let's start drafting divorce papers. Leaving Rachel's office, Jake felt a mix of relief and rage. He called a lab, arranging DNA tests for himself, Mia, and Sophie. I'll bring them after school, he told Claire on the phone. I don't want them to know yet. Claire sighed. You're doing the right thing, Jake. They're yours, I know it. But better to be sure. That evening, when Mia and Sophie got home from school, Jake hugged them tighter than usual. Dad, you're acting weird, Mia said, narrowing her eyes. Sophie giggled. Yeah, you look sad. Jake forced a smile. Just love you guys. Pizza for dinner. They cheered, but Jake caught Mia's lingering glance. She was always too perceptive. Later, after the girls went to bed, Jake got a text from Lauren, still at work. Home soon. He didn't reply. Instead, he called his parents, arranging for Mia and Sophie to stay with them for a few days. Something wrong, son? Susan asked. I'll explain soon, Jake promised. I need time. In the dark, he replayed Lauren's recording. Each word cut like a knife. But amid the pain, resolve grew. You thought I was weak, he whispered. You'll see what I'm capable of. Tomorrow, he'd take the girls to his parents and then to the lab. The truth was close and Lauren wouldn't escape the consequences. The Seattle sky was heavy with clouds as Jake Harper woke to a restless dawn. The weight of Lauren's betrayal, her affairs, the $800,000 secret account, and the chilling audio questioning his daughter's paternity pressed on his chest like a stone. Last night, he'd barely slept, replaying her mocking words, Jake's so naive. I'm not sure they're his. Today, he'd take Mia and Sophie for DNA tests and meet with his lawyer, Rachel Cohen, to finalize divorce plans. But first, he had to face the day. Jake sipped coffee, staring at the kitchen table where he and Lauren once planned their future. Mia, 11, and Sophie, 9, bounded downstairs, their chatter a fleeting reprieve. Dad, you look like a zombie, Mia teased, grabbing cereal. Sophie giggled. Yeah, did you fight a monster? Jake forced a smile. Just tired, girls. Grandma and Grandpa want you to stay with them tonight. Sound fun? They nodded eagerly, but Mia's sharp eyes lingered. You sure you're okay? She asked. Promise, Jake lied, his heart twisting. After dropping the girls at school, Jake drove to his parents' house in Bellevue to arrange their stay. Susan hugged him tightly. You're doing the right thing, honey, she said. David, his father, clapped his shoulder. Rachel called. She's ready to move on that account. Stay strong, son. Jake nodded, grateful for their support. He then headed to a lab for the DNA tests, arranging to bring the girls after school. The thought of doubting Mia and Sophie's paternity gnawed at him, but he needed certainty. At noon, Jake met Rachel at her downtown office. She spread out documents, her expression focused. The audio is gold, she said. It proves infidelity and intent to deceive. I've filed to freeze Lauren's secret account. $800,000 is no small sum. We're drafting divorce papers citing adultery and financial misconduct. Custody? Jake's jaw tightened. Full custody. Mia and Sophie deserve better than her lies. Rachel nodded. We'll push for it. I've got my investigator tailing her for more evidence. As Jake left, his phone buzzed, a text from Lauren, late again tonight. Client dinner. His stomach churned. He typed, fine, and hit send, his fingers trembling with rage. He was about to call Sarah Miles, the PI, for an update when his phone rang. An unknown number. Mr. Harper? This is Mercy Hospital, a woman's voice said. Your wife was in a car accident. She's in the ICU. Jake's breath caught. Is she alive? The woman paused. She's critical but stable. Can you come? Jake drove to the hospital, his mind a storm. Lauren, the woman who'd shattered his world, was now fighting for her life. At Mercy, the sterile halls buzzed with urgency. Dr. Patel, a grave-faced physician, met him. Mrs. Harper has multiple fractures and a head injury, he said. We've induced a coma to manage swelling. There's more. She tested positive for an infection, possibly HIV. You should get tested immediately. Jake's knees buckled. Chlamydia was bad enough, HIV was a nightmare. I'll get tested, he said, voice hollow. In the ICU, Lauren lay surrounded by tubes, her face bruised and bandaged. Jake stared, torn between fury and pity. This was the woman who mocked his faith, hid a fortune, and questioned their daughter's paternity. Yet seeing her so fragile shook him. He slipped off his wedding ring, placing it in his pocket. In his bag was an envelope, photos of her affairs, and a note, We're done. You betrayed us. He left it by her bedside, unable to stay longer. Jake drove to the lab, picking up Mia and Sophie from school on the way. Why do we need tests, Dad? Mia asked, suspicious. Just a health check, Jake said, hating the lie. Sophie chattered about school, oblivious. The swab process was quick, but Mia's quiet stare unnerved him. Results would take 48 hours. He dropped the girls at his parents' house, promising to visit tomorrow. Susan hugged him. Whatever happens, they're your daughters, she said. Jake nodded, praying she was right. Back home, Jake called Claire. Lauren's in the ICU, he said. Car accident. And they think she might have HIV. Claire gasped. Jake, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? He laughed bitterly. No. But I'm getting tested tomorrow. And the DNA results are coming. I need to protect the girls. Claire's voice softened. You will. You're stronger than you know. That night, Jake sat in the dark, the envelope's weight lingering in his mind. He'd planned to confront Lauren face-to-face, but fate had other plans. His phone pinged Sarah Miles. Got more photos? Lauren was with a guy hours before the crash. Sending now. Jake opened the email, Lauren, laughing with a man in a bar, her hand on his arm. The timestamp was 9 p.m. just before the accident. You never stopped, he whispered, anger flaring anew. He booked an HIV test for the morning, then called Rachel. Lauren's in a coma, he said. Does this change anything? Rachel's voice was steady. It complicates timing, but not the case. We'll serve papers when she's stable. The account's frozen and we're building evidence. Stay focused. Jake hung up, exhausted but resolute. Lauren's crash hadn't erased her betrayal, it only delayed the reckoning. As he lay in bed, Jake thought of Mia and Sophie. Their faces, their laughter, anchored him. You're mine, he whispered, clinging to hope. The DNA results would confirm it and the HIV test would clear his fears or deepen them. Tomorrow he'd face those truths. But tonight he prayed for strength, knowing the confrontation with Lauren, when it came, would change everything. The Seattle rain had softened to a drizzle as Jake Harper woke to a quiet house. 2 weeks had passed since Lauren's car accident landed her in the ICU, and the weight of her betrayal, her affairs, the $800,000 secret account, and her cruel doubts about Mia and Sophie's paternity still haunted him. Yesterday's DNA results confirmed Mia and Sophie were his, lifting one crushing fear. But the HIV test loomed, and Lauren, now awake, faced a reckoning. Today, Jake would confront her with divorce papers and fight for his daughters. Jake sipped coffee, staring at the kitchen counter where Lauren's lies once hid in plain sight. His phone buzzed, a text from Rachel Cohen, his lawyer, papers ready. Meet at hospital, 10 a.m.? Jake replied, yes. He then called his sister, Claire, who'd been watching Mia and Sophie at their parents' house. How are the girls? He asked. Claire's voice was warm. They're okay, but Mia's asking questions. You need to talk to them soon. Jake sighed. I will. After today. He drove to Mercy Hospital, the envelope of evidence, photos, bank statements, and the damning audio tucked in his bag. Dr. Patel met him in the lobby. Lauren's stable, he said. Her fractures are healing, but tests confirmed she's HIV negative. You should still get tested. Jake nodded, relief mingling with resolve. I'm scheduled this afternoon. The doctor's words eased one worry, but the confrontation ahead loomed large. In the ICU, Lauren sat propped up, her face pale, bruises fading. She looked smaller, fragile, but Jake's anger held firm. Jake, she whispered, her voice weak. He set the divorce papers on the tray table, his gaze steady. You betrayed us, Lauren. The affairs, the money, the lies about Mia and Sophie. I have proof. He slid the envelope toward her. I'm seeking full custody. The girls can choose if they want to see you. Lauren's eyes widened, tears welling. Jake, I messed up. I'm sorry. Her voice cracked, but Jake shook his head. Sorry doesn't undo 12 years of lies. You mocked me, our family. You questioned if the girls were mine. He played a snippet of the audio on his phone. I'm not sure they're his. Lauren flinched, covering her face. Please, I didn't mean it, she sobbed. Jake stood firm. Sign the papers. It helped. Move on. Rachel joined them, her presence commanding. Mrs. Harper, the account's frozen, she said. We've traced $800,000 in hidden funds. Jake's entitled to half, and we're pursuing alimony and child support. Lauren nodded, defeated, signing the papers with a trembling hand. Jake felt no triumph, only a hollow resolve. The girls deserve better, he said, leaving the room. That afternoon, Jake got his HIV test results, negative. Relief flooded him, but the emotional toll lingered. He drove to his parents' house to see Mia and Sophie. They ran to him, hugging tightly. Dad, why's Mom in the hospital? Sophie asked, her eyes wide. Mia crossed her arms. And why are we staying here? Jake knelt, heart heavy. Your mom's been dishonest. She hurt our family. I'm filing for divorce to protect us. Mia's face crumpled. She cheated, didn't she? Jake nodded, stunned by her intuition. I heard you talking to Aunt Claire. I hate her. Sophie's lip quivered. Does Mom not love us? Jake pulled them close. She loves you, But she made bad choices. I'm here always. You can decide if you want to see her. Mia shook her head. Not now. Sophie nodded, tears falling. Me neither. Jake spent the evening with the girls, playing board games to ease their pain. Later, he called Rachel. Lauren signed, he said. What's next? Rachel's voice was crisp. Courts in 2 weeks. We've got custody in the bag. And the account split, $400,000 for you, secured for the girl's future. I'm pushing for supervised visitation if they choose to see her. Jake exhaled. Thank you, Rachel. The next day, Jake and Claire moved Lauren's belongings to a modest Tacoma apartment, funded by her half of their joint savings. She's out of your life, Claire said, squeezing his arm. Jake nodded, but the girl's hurt weighed on him. He arranged therapy for them, vowing to shield them from further pain. A week later, Rachel called with an update. Lauren's been fired from her firm, Ethical Breaches, she said. She's moving to the apartment. The judge approved our terms. Full custody to you, visitation at the girl's discretion. Jake felt a pang of pity but pushed it aside. Lauren had built her own prison. That evening, Jake took Mia and Sophie to their favorite diner. You're my world, he told them, ruffling Sophie's hair. Mia smiled faintly. We know, Dad. We'll be okay. Sophie nodded. As long as we're with you. Jake's heart swelled. The legal battle was won, but the emotional scars would take time to heal. As he tucked the girls into bed, Jake's phone pinged. A text from Lauren. I'm sorry. I'll make this right. He didn't reply. Her words felt empty, her consequences deserved. The fight for his daughters was far from over, but Jake knew he was on the right path. Tomorrow he'd focus on rebuilding their lives, together. 3 months after Lauren's betrayal shattered his world, Jake Harper stood stronger in a crisp Seattle spring. The divorce was finalized, granting him full custody of Mia, 11, and Sophie, 9. Lauren's secret $800,000 account had been split, with Jake's $400,000 secured for the girls' college funds. Her affairs, lies, and cruel doubts about their paternity were now scars, not open wounds. Today, Jake focused on healing, for himself and his daughters, while Lauren faced the consequences of her choices. Morning light filtered through the Capitol Hill kitchen as Jake flipped pancakes. Mia and Sophie giggled at the table, arguing over who'd get the biggest one. Dad, you're gonna burn them, Mia teased, her sharp wit returning. Sophie, her pigtails bouncing, chimed in, Yeah, we want edible pancakes. Jake laughed, a sound he hadn't heard from himself in months. Patience, gremlins. Perfection takes time. Their smiles warmed him, proof they were mending. The past weeks had been tough. After Lauren signed the divorce papers in the hospital, Mia and Sophie refused to see her, their hurt raw. Therapy helped, giving them space to process their mother's betrayal. I'm mad at her, Mia had told their counselor. But I don't want to hate her forever. Sophie, quieter, admitted. I miss her, but I'm scared she'll lie again. Jake listened, heart aching, vowing to be their rock. Lauren, discharged from the hospital, had moved to a modest Tacoma apartment. Her real estate firm fired her for ethical breaches. Client complaints and evidence of her affairs surfaced, tanking her reputation. She'd started therapy, sending Jake a letter last week. I'm working on myself. I want to earn the girls' trust someday. Jake didn't reply, but he saved it for Mia and Sophie to read when they were ready. Her redemption was her burden, not his. Today, Jake drove the girls to school, their chatter filling the car. Dad, can we get a dog? Sophie asked, eyes wide. Mia smirked. Only if it's smarter than Sophie. Sophie stuck out her tongue, and Jake chuckled. We'll talk about it, but no promises. Dropping them off, he caught Mia's glance. You seem happier, she said softly. Jake smiled. Getting there, kiddo. We all are. At his accounting firm, Jake's boss, Tom Bennett, greeted him with a nod. You're back to your old self, Harper, he said. Clients are asking for you. Jake grinned. Thanks for having my back, Tom. Work had been a lifeline, grounding him through the chaos. After hours, He met his lawyer, Rachel Cohen, for coffee to wrap up loose ends. The judge finalized everything, she said. Your $400,000 is in a trust for the girls. Lauren's visitation rights depend on their consent. You're free. Jake exhaled, the weight lifting. I couldn't have done this without you, Rachel. She waved him off. You fought for your family. That's what matters. As they parted, Jake felt a spark of hope. The legal battle was over, now he could rebuild. That Sunday, Jake took Mia and Sophie to church, a habit that had anchored him through the storm. His faith, once mocked by Lauren, now felt like a shield. After the service, a woman approached, Emily Watson, a 36-year-old widow with warm brown eyes and a teenage son, Noah. Jake, right? She said, smiling. I've seen you with your girls. They're adorable. Jake blushed, caught off guard. Thanks. Mia and Sophie keep me on my toes. Emily laughed, her ease disarming. I get it. Noah's 15 and I'm still learning. They chatted, swapping stories of parenting and loss. Her husband had died 3 years ago. It's hard, but you find a way, she said. Jake nodded, drawn to her resilience. Emily, would you like to grab dinner sometime? He asked, nerves tingling. Her smile widened. Friday? I'd love to. Friday night, Jake met Emily at a cozy steakhouse, his first date in over a decade. Mia and Sophie had teased him mercilessly, Sophie giggling, Dad, you're blushing. At dinner, Emily shared her story, losing her husband to cancer, raising Noah alone. You're strong, Jake said, meaning it. She touched his hand. So are you. I heard whispers at church, sounds like you've been through hell. Jake nodded, sharing a pared-down version of Lauren's betrayal. Emily listened, her empathy a balm. The night ended with a walk by the waterfront, the city lights twinkling. I had a great time, Jake, Emily said, her breath visible in the cool air. She leaned in, her lips brushing his, a soft, hopeful kiss. Let's do this again, she whispered. Jake grinned, heart racing. Count on it. Back home, Jake tucked the girls in, their faces glowing. Did you kiss her? Sophie whispered, eyes wide. Mia smirked. Gross, Dad? Jake laughed. Mind your business, you too. Sleep. As he closed their door, he felt a lightness he hadn't known in months. A week later, Lauren texted, Can I see the girls? I'm trying. Jake showed the message to Mia and Sophie. Mia hesitated. Maybe, later. Not yet. Sophie nodded. She's gotta prove she's sorry. Jake respected their choice, replying to Lauren, They're not ready. Keep working on yourself. Her response was simple, I will. Jake's life settled into a new rhythm, work, therapy for the girls, and weekly dinners with Emily and Noah. The pain of Lauren's betrayal lingered, but it no longer defined him. At church, he saw Lauren's letter again, tucked in his Bible. She was trying, and maybe one day the girls would forgive her. For now, Jake focused on his family's future. One evening, as he and the girls stargazed in their backyard, Sophie pointed to a bright star. Is that Mom watching us? She asked. Jake hugged her. Maybe. But we're okay right here, together. Mia leaned against him, silent but content. Justice had been served not through vengeance, but through truth. Lauren faced her consequences, and Jake, with Mia, Sophie, and a budding connection with Emily, embraced a new beginning.